Hey, this is Susan Velez from SusanVelez.com, and I am going to be creating this video on the Backup Buddy restoration. Now, I created the first part of the video. This is actually the second part of a series. I created how to back up your site and set up automatic backups with the Backup Buddy, and I did that in the previous video. So if you have not watched that, then feel free to watch it. It's on my YouTube channel. And once again, I'd appreciate a like and a share. And let's get started. So, as you know, this is the website that I'm working with. I use this for all my demonstrations on my website as well as the YouTube channel. So, what I'm going to do is I've got the Backup Buddy plugin restoration that we did on the video before. I got it saved to my desktop. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this site from SiteGround. Right now, you can see it's a walkthrough. It's on my subdomain walkthrough.susanvelez.com. That's the subdomain. So I'm going to come over here to my host or to my SiteGround account, and I am going to actually delete this. So as you can see, I'm inside the public HTML folder of the walkthrough site on my SiteGround account. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete all these WordPress files. So let's go ahead and delete this. Delete. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to see if this site is still showing up. All right, so as you can see, it is no longer showing up, and that is because I deleted the WordPress files. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to restore this plugin. So if anything ever happened to your website, you would know how to go through the process. Now, as I mentioned, there are some other plugins. Now, you can visit my website at susanvelez.com, and you can get some free plugins. Recommendations for some free plugins that you can use in case you do not want to pay for the Backup Buddy, because this is a paid plugin, but it is the plugin that I use for my client sites as well as some of my personal sites. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to log into your hosting account, and I'm inside SiteGround, and you want to make sure that you're inside of the folder of the site that you're going to be restoring the website on. As you can see, I'm inside the walkthrough on my subdomain. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, upload this Backup Buddy, and as you can see, the upload has started because it's uploading right here, and when it gets done, it'll reach the end. Now this won't take very long because the website has absolutely nothing on it besides the Divi theme. And then I'm going to go ahead and upload the import buddy, and then I'm going to go ahead and take you to the next step of what we need to do. So I need to go back to the C panel of the dashboard, and then we're going to create a database because we need to create a brand new database to reconnect this WordPress site with the Backup Buddy plugin in order to work. So I'm going to come over here to MySQL databases, and then we're going to go ahead and create a brand new database. So I like to use the roboform plugin for this, so I'm going to go ahead and say generate, and then I'm just going to go ahead and give it just anything. If you do use a password generator, you cannot use these funky characters. I'm not sure what they're called, but you won't be allowed to use them for the database. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there, which is Control V, and then I'm just going to put walk through site. That way I know that this database actually belongs to this website because I have more than one database on my hosting account. So I'm going to go ahead and create the database, and then I'm going to highlight this, and then I'm going to open up Notepad, and I'm going to go ahead and just paste this information in here because I will need it to go ahead and connect to the Backup Buddy so that the restoration process can complete. So we're going to go back, and then we need to scroll down, and we're going to add a user. And I'm just going to go ahead and say demo walk. You definitely don't want people to see this information because your databases and your usernames should be very private. So that's the reason that this information is blurred out on top and bottom. So I just wanted you to know that. So we're going to go ahead and generate a strong password for the database password, and I usually give it a 44 characters, and if you're giving it a password, you can actually use these funky characters for that. So I'm going to say generate, and then I'm going to copy this and bring it down here, Control V in both spots, and you'll see that everything is actually very strong because it got green check marks on this, and it gives you a very strong password, 100 out of 100. So I'm going to come down here to this notepad, and I'm going to go ahead and do user and pass. And I'm going to paste that password right there for when I need it. So we're going to go ahead and create the user. And this is the user that we will need. So I'm going to control this one, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it right here. All right, go back. So the user has been created, but before we can actually connect this to it, we actually need to connect it and give it some privileges. So let's see, the one we just created, let me see what the name of that, okay. All right, so let me find it. Oh, right there. And then I gotta find the user. Let me find the user. Hold on. Site. All right. So this is the thing about it, is if you have more than one database, you have to be sure that you are connecting and giving the privileges to the correct database. Otherwise, you can definitely cause some issues with your sites. So once you got the correct user and the correct database, you go ahead and add them. And then for this video, I'm actually going to give it all privileges. But if you've read my blog on my website, excuse me, then you know that I actually uncheck for sites that I have online. I actually uncheck lock tables, index, create tables, and references. But it really doesn't matter for this site. So I'm going to go ahead and make changes. And then as you can see, it says you have successfully granted privileges on the database. Okay, great. So now that this is done importing, we actually need to go ahead and come and install the actual backup. So in order to do that, you go ahead and type in your domain. If you're reinstalling it on a subdomain, then you would go ahead and reinstall it on the subdomain like I did. If not, then you'd go ahead and install it on your top level domain, which my top level domain is susanvelez.com, and this is the subdomain, the walkthrough. So you want to make sure that you're installing it on the right one, and it would not let you, if you already have WordPress installed on the top level domain, it's not going to let you install it anyway, so you should be fine with that. So once you do that, you're going to go ahead and /, then you're going to go import buddy.php. So we're going to do that, and then it's going to ask you for your authentication. So let me grab that password that I used the other day. Let me just hold on for just a minute. All right, so once you have that password in there, you want to go ahead and just paste it in there. And then you can see that the password was correct because it actually takes you to this. And then pretty much from here is just pretty much just a walkthrough basis of following the prompts that are on here. So the first step would be that we are going to restore the backup. So it says, what would you like to restore from the backup? We want to go ahead, since I deleted everything. I didn't delete the database because I will do that after the video, but we just set up a brand new database for it. So we want this database from the old site to come into this new site that we actually are setting up, even though it is the same site, but you never want to restore the same database unless, of course, well, no, it's easy. I found it easier that you just create a brand new database and just import it, and then you can go back and delete the old database from the old site. So let's just go ahead and restore it. And then as you can see, the process is in effect, and it says, this basically just says it says you're attempting to restore an archive which was created with the newer version of Backup Buddy. So apparently I had the newer version 7.2.06, and then this is an import from 7.1.54. So just disregard that. That's not a big deal. It's just the version of the Backup Buddy is not the same. But this should work, so we'll see if this works. So what you want to do is you want to just click this little arrow right here, because the new database is going to be localhost as well. And then remember that document that we created the database on? Well, we are actually going to need this information now. So we're going to grab the database name. I'm going to paste that right there. And then we're going to go ahead and grab the user as well. paste that right there. And then we're going to grab the password right there and then paste this right here. So one of the things that I like to do is, if you notice right here, this is just a really long database prefix table. I actually like to use something totally different than the regular WP underscore that comes with WordPress. It's just a security measure that I take with all my sites. So for this demo purposes, I usually use the roboform generator for this, but for the demo purposes, I'm actually just going to type something in. So I'm just going to say walkthrough, and I'll be changing all this information after I get done with the video, because I'm just giving you guys access to all my information. And like I said, you want to make sure you keep your database information as private as possible. So once you do that, then you can just leave these blank, because we set up brand new database, so it doesn't even matter. So we're going to go ahead and go next. And then, of course, you're going to keep getting this error because, as I mentioned, the version is different than the actual version. The backup is different than the version. So just disregard, that's no big deal. So what it's telling you is that it's the old URL, and then this is the new URL, which, as you can see, it's the same thing because we're just restoring the actual website. Like if I actually lost the website, this is what I would do to restore my site. So then we just click next step, and then it's saying migrating database, and then it says verify imported site functionality before proceeding to cleanup. So we're going to verify if the site's up. So it should come back up. There you go. So that is the site back up and running. And then, as you can see, it's just a plain old site. This is just basically what I use for all my demonstration purposes, and as you can see, it's just back up and running, and this is how it was before. So once you ensure that everything is okay and you can log back in, I'm not going to log back in right now because I don't have that password on me right now, but well, I guess I could. Let me go ahead and pause this and I'll log in. All right, so I'm logged in back into the walkthrough. This is a subdomain, walkthrough.susanvelez.com, and then as you can see, the login information. And then I'm on the dashboard, and here are, well, this should not have, this is the regular hello world, and I don't think it has any pages, so just the sample page, and that's it. And this was from the backup that I created with the backup on the video that I created before this. So if you have any questions or need me to create a new tutorial, oh wait, before we actually go, there is one thing you want to do before you actually leave this alone. As you can see, it says you want to finish this cleanup right here. It says select files to delete. You always want to delete these files. So we're going to go ahead and click finish, and then it's going to go ahead and delete all the files that should not be on your hosting account. Once that's done, you can go ahead and close this out, and everything's up and running, and you are back up and secure. Now, one of the things about the Backup Buddy plugin, it's not your end-all means for a backup system. I know that I use it for my websites and I use it for my clients' websites, and it seems to work really great. One of the things I have noticed, though, is that if the site gets really large after a while, like let's just say that your site has, I don't know, let's say 200 blog posts, I have noticed that the Backup Buddy plugin does not really do very well on those type of sites. So you might want to look into some of the other plugins if you have a really, really large site. And I think I've read really good results on, or people saying they have had really good results with wordpress. I've used the free version on that, and I can say that it has done the job for one of my client sites, but I don't use it on a regular basis. For a regular basis, I use the Backup Buddy plugin. So just keep that in mind if you have a really, really large website that has several databases or a really big database. I'm not sure if the Backup Buddy plugin would be something that you would consider. You might want to consider the wordpress, as I mentioned, or do some research and see which plugins are great for extremely large sites. So once again, I hope this was very helpful for you. Feel free to comment below. Tell me what you want to know about WordPress, and I'll bring some more tutorials to you, and hopefully this is helping you out understand how to work WordPress. And be sure and like my channel and subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next video. Have a great day.